Anciently, the three most prominent planets were Saturn, Venus, and Mars. Each of these planets will again play a significant role in the apocalyptic second coming of Jesus Christ. These planets, though distant and barely visible in today's sky, were highly active above the Earth in the ancient sky. Their awe-inspiring presence and power generated patterns and images known as archetypes. These archetypes are found throughout the mythologies and lore of the ancient world and persist to this day. The red planet was the origin of numerous archetypes, of which these are a small sampling. The most important and widespread Martian archetype is that of the Great Warrior. The Roman Mars, from which the planet derives its modern name, was the god of war and the prototypical warrior. Ares was his Greek counterpart. Throughout the ancient world, every nation had its great warrior, all modeled after the belligerent red planet. One of the Greek incarnations of the red planet was Apollo. Though derivation of the name of the god is uncertain, most Greeks associated Apollo's name with the Greek verb apollimi, which means to destroy. Apollo was many things, but primarily he was a destroyer. It is as Apollo the Destroyer that the planet Mars is identified as an agent in the calamities of the Second Coming. Apollyon is merely another variation of the Martian god's name. That Apollyon, or Abaddon, was not a demonic being with wings, or a godlike human, is made clear by the Apostle John earlier in his description of the King of the Abyss. Apollyon was a star, or, in other words, a planet. In this depiction of the god, Apollyon is not the human riding in the chariot, but the red planet behind the chariot. Our modern word planet comes from the Greek name for the planets, Aster Planetis, meaning wandering star. Star, in the biblical Greek, often was used to refer to a planet, as in this case. Apollyon was king of the bottomless pit and was sent to destroy. He initiates the catastrophes with the first woe. He does so by sending down a horde of scorpions released from the smoke of the great pit. But these couldn't have been real scorpions as they are described. No terrestrial scorpion, or locust as John also calls these vermin, is shaped like a horse, have crowns of gold on their heads, have faces like men, hair as women, or the teeth of lions. John's description of the locust followed an ancient archetype, exemplified by this Egyptian sphinx and this Babylonian cherubim. The archetype typified a different physical reality. The key to identifying the descending hordes of locusts or scorpions is understanding similar past events. Immediately preceding Joshua's command for the sun to stand still, the Bible records that the Lord cast down great stones from heaven on the Amorites, killing more people with the hailstones than the Israelites did by the sword. Of course, these could not be the icy hailstones we know today. They were large stones, which we now call meteorites. 50 years earlier, hail had fallen upon Egypt at the command of Moses. The so-called very grievous hail that fell was mingled with fire and was so large that it broke every tree of the field. Again, these could have only been large meteorites. Returning to John's Apocalypse, we find the same great stones mingled with fire falling from heaven. John's statement that this plague of stones will be exceeding great is no understatement. John described the stones as weighing 1 talent. The heavy common talent used in New Testament times weighed approximately 130 pounds. Where will these stones come from? From Apollyon, the destroyer, from the red planet Mars, located directly above the Earth. An electric discharge results when 2 points or bodies of different electrical potential come within proximity. One body becomes an anode and the other a cathode in an electrical circuit. Planets, like the globes of the laboratory experiment, are charged bodies. When Mars approaches Earth at the onset of the apocalypse, the difference in electrical potential will cause an electrical discharge between them. John called the discharge lightning and wrote that it will be accompanied by thundering and voices. Rocky debris will be excavated from the surfaces of both planets and launched into space. This rocky debris will then fall as meteorites, or great stones from heaven, onto both Earth and Mars. The woe immediately after the scorpions was an army of horsemen, sent by the 6th angel to destroy the third part of men. Like the scorpions before them, they were described in symbolic terms taken from the mythic archetypes. In this case, the heads attached to the horse-like bodies were that of lions instead of humans. Their tails were serpentine, not unlike the tails of the scorpions. That the horsemen, like the scorpions, were actually stones or meteorites falling from heaven is clear from John's description. From their mouths issued fire, smoke, and brimstone. Brimstone comes from the Old English brimstone, which is constructed from 2 roots, bryn, meaning burning, and ston, meaning stone. Brimstone is literally burning stone. In modern terms, brimstone refers to meteorites. The first angel of the apocalypse sounded his trumpet, and a rain of hail and fire mingled with blood rained down upon the earth. We have already identified this hail as meteorites. Immediately following the hailstones, a second angel sounded his trumpet, whereupon a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, turning the sea into blood. This great mountain was simply a very, very large stone from heaven, as the picture depicts. The horror of the plague of great stones will be so great, says the Apostle John, that men shall seek death and not find it, and will blaspheme God.